Shout out to the thinking class. I need you to put an upgrade in the chat. Put an upgrade in the chat because the upgrade is here. Shout out to you, Jonathan W, for the Cash App. Come on, let's get it going. It is Friday. Let's get it. Come on, come on. It's Friday. Put upgrade in the chat. Come on. Get it. Come on. Upgrade. Games to be sold, never told. Games to be sold, and never told. Upgrade, 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 upgrade. The game is never to be told, it's to be sold. Everybody clap your hands. Beat, yo, we're going. Upgrade, upgrade. Come on, get it. Hey, 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 upgrade, up. Salute to the chat room, up. The thinking class is upgrade. Shoot, it's my mama calling, but it's upgrade. Keep going. Hello?
Oh, I forgot you on your show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sleeping. I'm sitting here waiting on my food to come in. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to my desk here in a minute.
Yeah. I switched to the thing. I'm gonna go back, but I got the people in the chat room right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I switched to that. They'll be out here to put the rest of the touches on it.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So the Instagram was you and the dog, huh?
All right, that was funny, huh?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got to see it. All right, I got to go.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Wait a minute. Upgrade. Get it. Upgrade. Get it. Upgrade. For the ones in the back of the class. Upgrade. Shout out to the thinking class. Blessing to the thinking class. We got another upgrade today. Upgrade. Say it again. Upgrade. We're upgrade. Hey. Better put the camera on this one. I'm gonna put the camera. Upgrade. Hit it. Upgrade. Hey. Hit it. Upgrade. Come on. Upgrade. Where did the beat? Come on, with another beat. Come on, get another beat. Come on, another beat. Let's get it. This is for all y'all who don't believe in the thinking class. The game is to be sold and not told. Let's get it. The game is to be sold and not told. Let's get another beat. I like this beat. Oh, I don't like that either, man. Let's get another beat. Let's get that one. 1, 2, 3. Game is to what to be sold and not told. Come on. We got an upgrade today. It's an upgrade today. We moving up. Let's get it. Let's get it. For all the doubters and unbelievers. 1, 2, get it. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. It's another upgrade. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. For all the non-believers. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. What? For all the non-believers. If you don't believe what I'm talking about, upgrade. What? It's an upgrade. You want me to start pop locking? Oh shit, women. 1, 2, 3, hey. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. You guys, man. It's an upgrade. For all y'all non-believers, it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. We talked about it around my birthday. Nah, today, the upgrade's gonna be kicking in. The upgrade's gonna be what? Kicking in. It's a upgrade. Because the game is to be sold and not told. Y'all ready for what the upgrade is? You ready for what the upgrade is? Hey. Woo, hey. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. Yeah. See, only those in the thinking cast can appreciate what I'm about to say about the upgrade. It's an upgrade. Let's get it. It's an upgrade. I wish Jono would come through. Jono, where you at, bro? Where you at, Jono? He really. It's an upgrade, baby. That's all I'm gonna say. It's an upgrade. Upgrade them likes. Let's get it. Subscribe to Lawrence D. Adams. Because the game is to be sold and not told. Games to be sold and not told. Game is to be sold and not told. Come on, let's get that funky vibe. Y'all ready for what it is? Salute to the thinking class. It's an Upgrade Friday. Upgrade Friday. Let's get it out. Get that upgrade in. Woo! It's an Upgrade Friday. Y'all better catch this wave. 1, 2. It's an Upgrade Friday. Y'all salute to everyone in the chat room. Let me give you what's going on. Those in the thinking class know exactly what I'm about to say. So we got one piece of the puzzle connected. We got the one piece of the puzzle connected, player. We got one piece of the puzzle connected. Y'all ready? So, you know we've been working on the MacBook Pro with the M1 chip. Shout out to Jonathan W. for putting that money towards that. Any money that comes in automatically goes towards that. I don't even touch it. I automatically send it over into that account that's directly just for the upgrade. So let me say this again. Any money that come in, Cash App, Super Chat, it automatically goes over into the MacBook Pro. But yesterday, I made a phone call to my internet service. We're not gonna say which one, because we're not giving them no publicity. But I made it say we talked about how I needed to upgrade my internet service, right? If y'all know what I'm talking about, let me know in the chat room. You know, I needed to upgrade my internet service because I was lagging, and it's still lagging a little bit now. You know, my voice wasn't catching up with the picture, and I was like talking, and then I say something, then I start moving. But today, in a few hours, LDA's internet service will be upgraded. That's right. The internet service will be upgraded. Why am I sharing this with you? Because it's not about me. It's about you and I, the thinking class. So today, the technician is coming to upgrade the internet service so that we have the most premium, let me say that, premium streaming of the thinking class here on this side of the earth. So we're going to have the most premium upgrade. broadband going up. Why are we having that? Because I believe everything that we do must be of quality. Must be of what? Quality. And I think a lot of times, I'm trying to get another instrumental coming in right quick, but it has to be of quality. Why settle for the lack when we can have the best? So I'm sharing this with you because if I'm experiencing an upgrade, guess what happens? Everyone in the thinking class should be vibrating, going to that upgrade. So the internet service this afternoon is being upgraded. So what you're going to see is faster, better service to you. And you guys were a part of it. That's why the game is to be sold and not told. So it is Friday. You can come up. I got the link. I'm putting the link in the chat. Come up talking crazy, whatever. I'm going to definitely boot you off. You know that, right? So don't come here doing anything crazy because we don't have that kind of energy over here. But I'm putting the link up. But today is upgrade because what? The game is to be sold and not told. So I want to let you know, congratulations. Thank you, everyone, for your energy, your thoughts, the money that you even sent this way for the upgrade. So the next thing we got to do is get that what? M1 MacBook Pro. And believe me, if this was easy, that's going to be easy too. And you're a part of it. So I want you to know that you, the thinking class, why are we called the thinking class? Because we are able to reason and to use logic in everything that we do. And then we have, at the same time, class. We don't have what? We have class. So we said this in March that we needed to upgrade the what? The internet service. Well, we just did. It didn't happen when we thought it was going to happen, but it happened just on time. It happened just before the end of April, if you remember that correctly. It happened right before we talked about it at April 1st that we were looking for the internet to be upgraded. It didn't happen. But right on April 30th, look at that. April 30th, 29 days later, the upgrade takes place. So I want you guys to realize that. Salute to everyone in the chat room. That's why the game is what? To be what? To be what? To be what? It is to be sold and not told, because it's not for everyone. Everyone's not going to understand what we just did. We just upgraded what? Everything. The next thing that's going to be upgraded is the MacBook Pro, so we have a better processing system. Why do we need a better processing system? So that it doesn't lag, baby. So that it doesn't lag. So that it doesn't lag. Let's get that beat from yesterday. I know they don't want me to play it, but I got to play it. So we're going to play that beat from yesterday. So I want you to get this. I want you to get this. Today is not just my upgrade. It is your upgrade too. So let's get this beat going. Y'all know how we do it. Let's get it. Thinking class, worldwide, across the ocean, around the country, North America, South America. Thinking class, we got an upgrade today. That's why the game is to be sold and not told. Everybody's not going to understand what we're talking about. Salute. Please understand what we're getting at. And next week, we're going to be talking about, I don't know if I want to tell you what we're going to be talking about next week, but I want y'all to get the likes up, get the subscribers up. We're going to get into the teaching today, but I want y'all to get this energy that I'm vibing at. It is an upgrade Friday, not just for me, but for you too. Let's get it. And I want you to come up. If you need to come up, you can call me on Facebook, and you can call in and we can chop it up. What have you got from this week's teaching? This is your opportunity to let me know what you got from this week's teaching. This is not, it's one, I don't want this to be one-sided. For me and John or whoever come up, you here just to hear this good game, but you don't have a feedback on what you've been hearing. What have you learned from this week's teaching? It's time for you to give feedback. It's time for you to teach. You can come up. I gave the link. You can't come up. You can call in if you need to call in. I got the number. You can call in. I think it's I put the number up. You can call in directly into the show, and we can chop it up about what did you get from this week's broadcast. Because this is Lawrence D. Adams. Salute, Nisha. Salute, Carlos. Salute everyone in the chat room. You can hit the link. What did you get from this week's teaching? Even if you just got 1 ounce, 1 word that helped you digest the game at a different level. If you understood your value, understand that there's a price tag for anything that you have, that you realize that your experience means something. This is your opportunity. I'm giving you the opportunity. I'm opening up the doors. This is free game. I want to say free game Friday. This upgrade Friday, where you've been able to share. What did you get exactly from this week's teaching? Now, y'all don't get quiet now. I opened up the floodgates. I gave the link. Let me lay the link out again. You can come up. You can come up. Here's the link right here. If you need to call in, and if you have any more questions, maybe you have questions about why is the game to be sold and not told. This is your opportunity to say, hey, I got more questions. I want to ask you personally, Lawrence D. Adams, or I want to ask you, John, when he comes up. What does it really mean? Maybe you want to share something with the class that maybe something I missed. This is your opportunity to come up and share about what you got from the game is to be sold and not told. So I want you to come up. Don't y'all get nervous now. This is for you to graduate into realizing that your opinions and your voice matters here on what we do here at Lawrence D. Adams Show, or whether the Recharging Manhood. Y'all done got quiet now. Don't get quiet now. Don't get quiet now. If you want to come up, if you're on Facebook, what you do, you can call me on Facebook, and what is happening is it's going to bleed over. It's going to come over right over into the live stream. So if you want to come up, you got something you want to share. So you say you may not agree with me. You might believe that the game should be told and not sold. But this is your opportunity to share. See, I think a lot of times content creators don't give the other people opportunities to share their thoughts of what they hear, what they heard. Because you may agree or you may not agree. I don't mind that. But this is your opportunity to share. Y'all don't get quiet in the chat room. Why do you think the game is to be sold and not told? Or what have you learned this week from Monday to Thursday on the importance why the game is to be sold and not told? Y'all didn't get quiet now. 21 watching. I want you to get this, and I want you to get this energy that's here right now. This upgrade. Thank you for the shout out. Thank you, True Savage. Appreciate that. Happy Friday. Salute to you, Master Teacher LDA and Thinking Class Upgrade. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. What did you get from this week's?
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Uh-oh, even Siri's trying to get it. Siri, what do you say? Let's get it. What did you get from this week's teaching? Don't y'all get quiet. Come on, let's get it. Come on. Appreciate you, man. I'm already open to receive. It's easily flowing to me. But this is your opportunity to come up. I put the link in the chat room. If you're on Facebook, you can hit the link and you can come up. If you don't want to hit the link, what you do is call me on Facebook and you can come directly up on the show. Now, you to come here talking crazy, we're going to have a problem. I'll tell you that much right quick, because we ain't having that on here. If you got me on IG, you can hit me on IG and it will come up and we can hear you on here. Uh-oh. Okay. Let me see you in the link. Shoot. Jesus Christ. Ready when you are. Oh, we do got a guest. I forgot about guests. Shoot, Jesus Christ. All right. What's going on? Exactly. You gave the opportunity and none's beating up. I missed most of the week and would love to hear what everyone had to say. So we do have a guest coming up. Flo, let me get the guest up. 1 second. Let me get the guest up right quick. Copy. So we do got a guest coming up. You guys, can you believe we have a guest? And LDA forgot about the guest. Oh my God. So yeah, but I want you guys to come up and we're going to talk about it for a minute and then we'll get the guest up. Let me do this. This is what you call multitasking, but today is definitely upgrading. And what we're going to hear is I'm going to send this to me and here we go. So the upgrade, upgrade. That's who I be. Thank you so much for the upgrade. True Easy, Jonathan W. and Isaac, thank you for the Cash App. Appreciate you. Let me get this guest up, and I am going to get him right up in a minute. 1 second. That's the beauty of YouTube. Oh my God. Peace, everyone. Peace, everyone. Let's get this. Well, okay. Why do you say that we should be so? It should be so, in what ways, and you think it should be so? Good question. Let me get the link up so we can get this guest up here 1 second, and I'll answer that question. Y'all ready for the guest? We do have a guest coming up. Copy link. 1 second. And I'm being a bad host, but it's all good. Here we go. Boom. So why would you say it should be so, and what ways you think it should be so? Because if information or the game is given freely, you don't understand. A lot of times people don't understand the value of the game. So to receive it freely, you lose the value. But if you pay for something, guess what's going to do to you? It's going to cause you to put the action whatever the game is giving you. Because we define game another way here. The game solves problems. It does what? It solves problems. So you realize there's a price tag on solving problems. In what ways do you think it should be sold? It can be sold multiple ways. How can it be sold multiple ways? It can be sold through, of course, through information. It can be sold by service. It can be sold by barter. But you realize the game has to be sold. Anytime you have a free mentality, guess what's going to happen? All you're going to get is free stuff. The best thing I learned this week was you have to put value on your pride, or else people don't want to take it seriously. You had to put, thank you so much, JB. Appreciate that. So you want to put value on yourself. People sleep on the mindset shift and paying for information. It conditions you into value and self-worth. Because if you invest in yourself, guess what's going to happen? You're going to upgrade yourself, but you're going to realize it was a price tag that you had to pay for your investment. So you can invest in multiple ways. You invest with your time, you invest with your behind, and you invest with your mind. Let me say that again. Your time, your mind, and your behind. Your attention. So we got our guest coming up, and I apologize for not so much going on at one time. But I want you guys to really understand that the game is to be sold and not told. Let me say that again. The game is to be what? Sold and not told. The game is to be sold and not told. So there is a price tag. The problem is we have a lot of people who do not want to pay the price tag for the game, but they want the game. Let me say that again. We have a lot of people who want to what? Who want the game, but don't want to pay the price tag for the game because they're always looking for the 5-figure discount, or they're looking for a way to get the hookup. Stop looking for the hookup. The hookup is not going to help you because you're going to be in the consciousness of being in the hookup. Start being in the consciousness of abundance, that you will always have enough to what? To pay for what you need to know. Let me say that again. You will always have enough to pay for what you need to know. There's some information that you will have to pay for. There's certain information that you may have to travel to. There's certain information that you may even have to go, talk to a person who normally wouldn't talk to you, but it's going to cost you something because it's going to cost you your time and your effort to get that information. But once you get that information, it's going to catapult you in whatever you're doing to the next level. So we're waiting for our guest to come up. So once he come up, he's going to shift right into that. So I want you really, really to get that. So, something I got out of this week was being brought to see that old me could be the greatest enemy. That hit differently. Great point. I want you to get that. So you realize that your old self can be your, and our guest is going to cover that right on the money with that. I can't wait till you come up. That the old you, what, can be your greatest enemy. But now we're going to take it a little spin, and your greatest teacher. But you got to realize, you got to look at it and say, you know what? My old me got me to this point. But now I need to activate the what? The new me. Okay, we're going to see. We're going here. We're going to pixelate it. Upgrade is coming. The new me is going to take me into my future. So I celebrate what the old me, but I congratulate the new me. I celebrate the old me, but I congratulate the what? The new me. Telling you, it's gonna take you to another level. I learned that there's different ways to sell the game. It's ways to be benefit to the game. Thank you so much. There are multiple ways to sell the game. The information that you know, not just being said here, but the information that you know. That's the difference. You can lead your old way. You can even lead your old way into your new you. Correct. That's good right there. Waiting for my guest to come up. He should be here. So I want you guys to really get that. So I want you to get that, really get down, wait for the guest to come up, and he's going to be up. Thank you. What's going on, Teresa? So I want you, what's going on? So I want you guys to really understand the power of that. The old you have to say, thank you. Celebrate it. It got me to that point. But the new you need to congratulate to get you to where you need to go. And there is no, what? Celebrate the old me, congratulate the new me. Everybody need to put that in the chat room. Celebrate the new me, congratulate the new me. Celebrate the old me, congratulate the new me. Why are we doing that? Because you realize, even though I said that it is an enemy, you have to thank your old you for getting you to the place where you can say, I need to make a change. So I want everybody to really get that deeply inside of them. So I want you to really get that. Congratulate on the new you. Y'all need to have a party. Congratulate the old me. Celebrate the old me. Congratulate the new me. When you do that, this is what happens. You take yourself out of the negative things that happen to you of the old you. Let me say that again. You take your mind off of the old you. Let me say that again. You take your mind off of the known. Write it down. Can help it click. Right. So you take your mind off of the old you. And you begin to say, you take your mind off the negativity of the old you. And you realize, let me celebrate that. Because it did get me to where I was. But let me what? Congratulate the new me. I'm a new person at 11:59. Shout out to Steve the Dean. Come on. Shout out to Steve the Dean. I thank the past for the lessons and embrace the new me with grace. That's it right there. That's it right there. I think a lot of times people miss that. So they're so hard on them about their past and what they did and what took place. Oh, I did this and I can't do that and this and that and this and that. Guess what? Thank the old you. It got you to this point where you awaken and say, there is more. Something I said this week, you have to become selfish in your what? Wanting to have more. You should allow yourself to thrive. You have to become selfish in your what? Allowing yourself to thrive. Let me say that again. You have to become selfish in your wanting yourself to thrive. You have to become what? Selfish in your what? In your wanting yourself to thrive. You got to become what? Selfish, just selfish in your wanting yourself to thrive. It is nothing wrong with it. That's true. If you really learn from your mistakes, you don't dwell on the past because it's only stepping for your future. Come on. Take the negative parts of the old you and relieve them of their duties. Come on. That's right. The enforcer have just said it. And I want you guys to get that. What does this have to do with game, LDA? It has everything to do with the game because so many people have beaten themselves up and I'm no good and no woman likes me and I can't get a job. You're in the wrong focus. I'm waiting on my guest to come up. As soon as he comes up, it is on. So I want you to really get what we're saying here today. I want you to really let this sink deeply inside of you, because when it sinks deeply inside of you, let me say this. When it sinks deeply inside of you and you begin to celebrate the old you and congratulate the new you, everyone around you begins to do the same thing. Let me say that again. As I said the other day, selfish starts with a self meaning to start with yourself. Correct. Let me say this again. When you begin to celebrate the old you and congratulate the new you, people begin to do the same thing for you. Let me say that again. When you begin to celebrate the old, celebrate the old you and congratulate the new you, people begin to do the same thing for you. People begin to do what? Do the same thing for you. It's like, wait a minute, if he's doing that or she's doing that, let me do the same thing. Yes, the other way. Sell the game, be the light and the example. Come on. There is that Jonathan coming through. I'm waiting for my guest to come through. Oh, good morning, LDA in the Thicket class. What's going on, Jono? We got a guest coming up. I'm waiting for him to come up. I send the link for him.
Okay.
Waiting for him to come up. It's Hypnosis for Men. Waiting for him to come up. I send him the link. So this is it. So when you begin to celebrate the old you and you begin to congratulate the new you, people begin to do the same thing for you. It's so amazing, man. Hey, you know what? Today I told him, I don't know if you heard it, man, but it's Upgrade Friday, or you already know. It's Upgrade Friday. Upgrade Friday. Amen. So be it. So be it. So be it. Salute to Jono. He's in the building. The professor. You better recognize the professor is in the building. Now, April 1st, we said by April 1st what was going to happen, Jono. I know you can say it better than me, man.
Well, we was trying to get a few upgrades that were put in place. And we set some goals and deadlines. We said, hey, by April. Now, I don't think we said April 1st because we knew that was not realistic. But April, we said in April, we want to get that internet upgraded. And even though we tossed around with a couple different companies, hey, look, it happened, right? In April.
In April. And guess what? It happened easily and effortlessly. The equipment is sitting in my house right now, waiting on the technician.
You see, that's called manifestation.
That quick. That quick. But if it happened for me, it can happen for you or anyone in the chat room, especially the thinking class, because they've been in the trenches with us.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, where's my dude at?
And we have to show you. We're showing you how things come to flourishing.
We're definitely showing you. I'll keep going. I'm waiting for trying to reach out to him. I know we got the link. I'm not sure where he's at. It is upgrade. Oh, he said they got a name for you now already, John. Everything manifests so quickly. Not Professor X, Professor J. Professor J. Upgrade Friday. That's exactly what it is. And Professor J. J as and Jono.
Appreciate that.
What's the other name? What's the other? Or don't activate David. Alter ego. Yeah, I'm not sure where you at, man. Waiting on you, man. We waiting on you, bro. But I want you guys to really get that. That's why the game is to be so. I think next week. What time is it? I think next week. We wouldn't want to talk about next week. It's sitting right here. You guys better get this. Waiting for him to come up. Hope you guys everything is good. I don't know, but we got it. After they say in Hollywood, the what?
Show must go on.
Show must go on. He'll come up. I know he is. Plus, it's Friday too. So it's Upgrade Friday. But I want you guys to understand that. What game you selling though? See, that's the thing. You have to identify what game you are selling. You are giving to someone. Telepathic manifestation, John on LD affirmation. See, y'all trying to get. That's what I want to talk about next week. Next week, I think next week. Do I want to tell them what next week's show is going to be about?
Yeah, do it.
So next week's show, because he sort of hit most folks just start taking action to better themselves, and some try but give up way too easy. That's correct. But since he said this word here, telepathic manifestation, John on LD affirmation, you know what we're going to talk about next week? Oh, he said something. I've noticed that I have been a magnet for positive energy since my mindset changed. I identify with like-minded people and immediately notice the false ones cut them off. Right. Woo, previewing. So next week, we're going to talk about, let's see. Y'all want to know what we're going to talk about next week? Let me know in the chat room because it's sitting right there. Y'all want to know what we're going to talk about next week? And I'm waiting for my guest. Come on, guest. Yeah, I'm watching them. Do you want to know what we're going to talk about next week? Jado is from the future.
I appreciate that.
Y'all want to know what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about next week. Let me know in the chat room. Yeah, I see him. He's seeing. Do you want to know what we're going to talk about next week? It's the game, your present worth being sold.
Don't forget to tell them if they're going in on a phone what to do with the mobile site thing. Remember?
Yeah. Say that again.
Don't forget if your guest is going in on a mobile phone, you got to tell them what to do.
There he is. There he is. There he is. Popped up. Look at that. As soon as you said that. There he is. So y'all want to know what we're going to talk about next week? At my guest. There he is.
Hey, sorry about that. Got pulled away with some stuff for a minute.
It's good, man. Hypnosis for Men with Jono and Lawrence D. Adams. Yo, we got guests today, but it's Upgrade Friday. So we're going to bring you in. But I'm going to share what we're going to talk about next week. Since they said yes. We're going to talk about the spiritual side of the game.
Ooh. Good stuff.
The spiritual side of the game. So, man, hey, let's tell them about you, bro.
Awesome. Well, my name is Ryan Christensen. I am a master hypnotist and performance coach. Basically, what I do is help men identify and overcome the limiting beliefs that are holding them back from getting what they need to have in life. I use hypnosis to do that. It's actually a really rapid process. It's pretty simple. I'm able to move most guys in the direction they want to be very far in about an hour and a half in a single session. It's pretty amazing. Sorry, hold on just a second.
Your mic's muted.
Oh, that's me. That's me.
I was wondering why I wasn't hearing anything.
I got my hand on the board and I went. So, what made you go down the path with hypnosis?
So it's a kind of a long story. I've been involved in therapy like off and on since about 2009. I had a major depressive episode and needed quite a bit of work to put myself back together. So once my career in the public service side of things, I was doing intelligence for, national security stuff, did that for about 23 years and it was time to move on. So I was actually looking at getting a degree in psychology so I could start helping guys overcome the kind of things that I had to overcome. But that was going to be like 5-6 years to get my PhD and like 300 grand in school. I wasn't actually going to be able to start my practice until 50, and that wasn't very appealing. Now, when doing all this work, getting into the community, hanging out with guys like Afi, hanging out with guys like John from Modern Life Dating, one of the guys I met in the community was a hypnotist, talking about toxic shame and getting rid of a lot of that stuff. And of course, raised Catholic, got a lot of that stuff kind of hanging out. Figured I'd give it a shot. So it was a very powerful experience for me. So I said, all right, let me check this out and see if this is something I can do. So I got certified early last year, right before COVID hit actually, and found out I was pretty good with it. So started doing this full time back in October.
Wow. Well, so wait a minute. So this is going to tie in exactly what we're talking about all this week. The game is to be sold and not told. Is there a price tag for it? I want you to say, is there a price tag for what you do?
Sure. Absolutely there is.
Oh, okay. I got to make
Absolutely
sure.
there is.
For the thinking class, I want you to make sure you understand that the game that he has in hypnosis for men, there is a price tag because the game he has is to be sold and not told because of the answers that he gives and unearths inside of you. Am I right about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's some things that you just really can't do on your own. And digging around in the back of your head is one of those things that's incredibly hard to do on your own. And so paying somebody like me or working with another hypnotist, working with somebody else who understands how the back of your mind works, how your unconscious mind works, is probably the fastest, easiest, best way to do it, right? I had one guy I just worked with a couple months ago who had been smoking weed for like 15 years, couldn't quit. I did one session with him, quit. And he's been going to therapy.
Hold on, just slow down because you went real fast. Because I got people.
Sorry.
Just the thinking class. I mean, we thinking, but you said
I got you.
Let me say it's the thinking class. He said that he had one person that he worked with who was smoking trees.
Mm-hmm.
And what for how long?
For 15 years.
15 years. I never smoked in my life, but and he did one session with you, and what happened?
Oh, he hasn't smoked since. Doesn't even want to.
What you guys say about that, Jono? I can't hear you, bro.
That's how powerful the mind is. If a person, first of all, he had to be susceptible and he had to be a giver. He had to give you his mind. Once you accepted that part of it, the rest, the instructions are actually easy. Because when people go in with apprehension, they go in with stigmatism, it's hard to crack that shell first than actually a bad habit.
Oh, the thinking class is going. I told you the Professor Jono is here. Everybody, dun 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 dun. Y'all bet. We need a super chat, a cash app on what's about to happen next.
No, you're 100% right, and that's part of the process is actually trying to figure out like why it is that we sabotage ourselves in these ways. Because everything that we do, even if it's something that's holding us back right now, is actually intended to help us out in some way. So it's intended to solve a problem from back in the day. There's a psychologist that I like who had this phrase: "Today's problems are caused by yesterday's solutions." You got to where you are by doing what you've been doing, and it's a lot of times it's those things that are holding you back from reaching that next level.
So, in saying that, what are some of the common blocks inside of men? And I'm going to be real specific about this. What are some of the common blocks inside of men when it comes with wanting to be in a relationship or dealing with women. Where did the common blocks that come up? You're like, you know what? This. What are some of the common blocks?
Well, I'd say one of the biggest ones, and probably the most damaging one, is this feeling that they're not enough, or that they don't deserve, or they're not worthy of either women, either being in a relationship, or even a good life in particular, right? Like I've had one guy that I worked with who grew up in a poor Irish neighborhood, right? Trailer park, train wreck kind of situation. And he'd be walking through the park, see all these pretty girls, normal looking women who were looking him up and down, giving him all the indicators of interest and stuff. And he'd look down, look away, walk off. Now he could get with, hood rats and trashy girls and women of low value, could do that all day. But the women who he felt actually had value, he couldn't even look them in the eye, just walk away. Well, he had internalized this idea that people like him, that grew up in environments like him, were fundamentally broken in some way. Like people like him didn't get to have normal relationships. They could have a relationship as long as it's a train wreck, but they can't have a normal one. So working with him, getting that idea out of the way, let him actually pursue women who were of higher value, higher quality, less drama and less trouble, right? Because finally he realized that he deserved that kind of thing. He wasn't broken. There was nothing wrong with him, right? Similarly, a lot of people, if they have to move through life where they're not really accepted as who they are, feel like they kind of have to buy that affection by being what somebody else wants them to be. Right? So they create these personas. Say, oh, I got to figure out what she wants and who she needs to see so I can show her that in order to be accepted. Which does two things. Number one, it means you spend your entire time trying to read somebody else's mind, which I don't know about you, but I'm not psychic. But number two, even if you get the girl, you still don't get what you actually want, because she's going to give to you what she thinks that person you presented yourself to be wants and needs, not what you actually want and need. So those are the two biggest ones that I see most often.
Wow. So not feeling worthy enough and trying to placate to the woman to give her what you think she needs.
Well, trying to be somebody else in order to be like accepted.
And that's one of the two blocks. I want you guys to really get what we're saying here, because that's one of the two blocks that prevent you in your relationship with women. And at the end of the day, and I'm going to say it, boy, so that's, I don't know, should I even say this? But I guess I should.
Go for it.
Men want to be with women.
Really?
I don't know why we fight that.
Absolutely.
I don't know why we fight that. I don't know why we fight that. We people get to the red pill and they, hey, I don't want to do with women, and the women are the devil. They're gonna take my cash. They're gonna take my car, and you're creating your own block to dealing with finding. I have this theory. I don't have those kind of women in my life. So guess what? They don't show up. So the other side of it is, because I don't have that theory inside on the ideology, what kind of women shows up? Women who are willing to get down on my program.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. People say like we attract the energy we give out and that kind of thing, but it's really that we have different filters. We're looking for different things in the world, right? Say you want to buy a new car, like a Camaro, right? Decide to buy one, a Camaro. You see them all over the place because you've already told your mind that that's what you want to find. Well, if you think women are all for the streets and they're trash and everything else, then the only women you're going to notice are women like that. Now you want something different. You have a better idea of the kind of woman that you want to be with, a woman who is more loyal, brings more to the table, has less drama. So that's the woman you see. You ignore the ones that don't fit that model because they're not women you're interested in. Now, a lot of guys come to this space because they've been hurt, because they can't figure out women, because they've got a lot of resentment and anger around the fact that they're not successful with women. And so that colors their perceptions. But the biggest thing that I've noticed is that once men in particular start doing the work and leveling up and getting success, not only with women, but in the rest of their lives especially, they stop being as angry. And as soon as you get rid of that anger, a lot of that, oh, women are trash stuff kind of goes away.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track, because what happens is a lot of people don't take their own responsibility for what's going on inside, and they outwardly project it. And what happens is they turn the very thing they want to be attracted to into the enemy. And by making them the enemy, then you have all these excuses built up about how you don't want to deal with them when they're really what you really looking to attract towards you. Exactly. And going back to what you said earlier about value, that's the problem. Why people don't invest in their own mental health or their own recuperation or repair is because they don't value themselves. They put the value in another entity and they give them all the credit and they give them all the praise, but they're not absorbing it back in themselves because they don't want to invest back in themselves.
That's part of it. I would also say that it's actually very, very difficult to take a hard, long look at the ugly parts of yourself, right? The parts of yourself that are damaging you, the parts of yourself that have been like kicked, put down all throughout the years. Like that's not an easy process to do. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength. And a lot of people don't have it, right? You got to build them up to the point where they can do that, where they can take that hard look. Now, one of the good things is we got gentlemen like you out here who are holding up that mirror saying, hey, here's this big fat blind spot you got. Take a look, because this is something that you need to pay attention to. This is what's holding you back. But if men don't have that in their lives, if we're not able to listen to that for whatever reason, because of anger and everything else we got, then that's really, really, really going to hold you back in so many ways in making that improvement. Because you got to be able to even admit to yourself that you need that help. It took me a while to do. It took me a while having men that were making moves, had their stuff on lock, knew how the game was played, telling me like, dude, you are tore up from the floor up. Before I finally listened, said, all right, everybody's telling me that I'm wrong. Even though I think I'm right, I'm just going to do what they tell me to, just to try it on for size. And sure enough, it worked.
Wow. It's interesting. It's interesting that you talked about the mirror. John, you know Connie Williams, don't you?
Yeah.
She said to me years ago, she said to me years ago, she said, sir, you're going to be one in the future. And I was trying to get it to happen then, to be able to show a mirror to people. I have it on tape of who they really are, so that they change into the image of who they need to be. But that was back in the 1996, 7, 5. But at that time, I wasn't. I wanted it to happen like that day, but I had to mature into that person that was able to what? Be able to show the mirror to someone so that they can see who they are, where they're at, to who they can be. Interesting that it's come full circle.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've recognized is that being an older man in this space is a heck of an advantage, because we have a perspective and a depth of knowledge and experience that gives us the ability to do that, right? Because we can say, oh, yeah, I've done that before. Like all those mistakes you made, experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. As older men, we have a lot of experience, which means we can see all that stuff coming when the younger gentlemen just can't. And that actually gives us the ability to show them those gaps so much faster.
That's very true. And I think what happens is, and I'm going to say this, the older men cannot fight the younger men, and the younger men cannot fight the younger men, because we need each other. There's an underlying war between the younger man feel like you can't tell me nothing because the game has changed, and the older men saying, well, you know what, you guys don't want to listen. I'm trying to give you the game. So what happens is there's like this internal war that's going on between the two that shouldn't be there. I'm there to help you so that you don't make the same mistakes, but I'm also wise enough to listen to you, to learn from some things I may not see from my perspective.
Yep, absolutely. And I'll tell you, it's coming at things from different life stages. Like I had my well ending phase too, right? My 30s were a very fun, very interesting time. But I don't necessarily want to go back to that now, because there's other things that are more important to me now that I'm older, in my 40s, right? But the younger guys are right. The game has changed in a lot of ways. They're seeing things in the way the world moves that just weren't that way whenever you and I were growing up back in the 80s and 90s, right? It is a different world, as much as I hate to admit it. And if we're unwilling to listen to them showing the way the world is now so that we can adapt our game to the new world, to where we can help them navigate that world better with the, the benefit of the experience we've had, so that we can show them landmines they haven't seen yet because they haven't experienced that part of the world. Like that's when things become amazing. Right?
Yeah.
Which is why these groups like here, like John's, like everybody else's, that are doing these, getting groups of men together of all ages to do this kind of work together are so powerful.
Look at this. This is Upgrade Friday. We got Alpha Kingdom. I know he's working. So I want one of the things I want to also talk about. Also,
blessings, Ryan, President LDA.
Hey, Afi.
Oh,
I'm here.
so one of the things I wanted to, Ryan, I want you to talk about. What are some of the blocks that come up with men around money?
Some of it is the same thing in terms of not being worthy. Like that's one thing that I've struggled with on my own life is there's a lot of things that were kind of like off limits for me. Like I wasn't enough or I was too different, and therefore there were things in life that I couldn't have. And I had to overcome that in order to even be able to launch this business and to level it up throughout that ever since then. Other things that I've noticed are an idea that you just can't have that good life, that mediocrity, that being small is safer. Right? You get guys growing up that were bullied and everything else, or had to deal with hard situations like that. There's this feeling like, hey, it's easier, it's better, it's safer for me to hide and be small than to put myself out there. Because if I'm big, if I get noticed, then I get hurt. Right? Well, that's going to hold you back when you're trying to make money, as well as when you're trying to interact with people and everything else, because that requires you to put yourself out there in the world. And if you think that's fundamentally going to get you hurt, your mind is not going to let you do that. Right?
So what you said right there, I'm gonna push a little button now.
Sure.
And you don't have to give it all because this is free. This is a free Upgrade Friday.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the first walk into someone unplugging from what you just said?
So a couple of things that come with that are, number one, recognizing that when you're small, like you can't really fight back against people who are bigger than you, especially if it's adults. Right? Guys who've been through physical abuse and things like that, emotional abuse, you don't have the power and the strength to really fight back effectively. But the thing that you can do that's actually harder is just to persist, just to resist, just to hold on, just to survive, right? That ability to endure when you can't fight back is a kind of strength that most people don't recognize. I mean, if you look at like Gandhi, you look at Martin Luther King, you look at Nelson Mandela, right? How did they win their struggles? By not fighting back, by being able to endure all throughout that thing. And by showing the people who have been through that, the fact that they have been able to survive is a win in and of itself. Being able to survive is strength in and of itself. That makes them realize that they're not powerless, right? The other thing to recognize is that the bigger you are, the stronger you are, the bigger presence you have, the less people screw with you. So it's actually safer to be large. It's safer to come at things from a position of strength. It's safer to move through the world with a solid foundation. If you're small, you don't have anything behind you. If you're big, you got an army, or you can build an army, right? So in fact, the bigger you are, the safer you are.
Arthur must be messing with the dogs. They must be fighting.
Yeah, I'm still here though. I'm on that.
I thought the dogs were fighting each other. You got anything, John?
I'm agreeing with it. What happens is we all need to come to grips with our own set of instructions that we need to follow to get out of the mess that we're in. And what happens is the more that you can accept the help or accept the realization that somebody's trying to help you focus on the issues that you have, you will then have some of the tools you need to dig yourself out. You can't use the same method that got you into trouble by getting you out. And basically, that's your past, okay? All the decisions you made in the past up to this point got you to the period where you are right now. So you can't exactly repeat those same things to get yourself into a new situation. You're going to have to try something new. And as long as you have somebody giving you instructions in a new direction that has the right focus and the right attention, you should be able to change your direction and pivot like we did last week.
Yes. Now I got a question. When was that? This because we can go. This is the thinking class. But when was the funniest time you did a hypnosis and you know, you had to go back and say, you know what, that was hilarious. You know, because sometimes people don't think about hypnosis. Like, wait a minute, you know, that was hilarious.
Most of my clients, like there aren't a whole lot of hilarious moments in the therapeutic work I do. Right, guys have been through a lot, so there's not a lot of funny moments in there. I think the funniest one, the best part is hearing afterwards. Right, so I did this session with a client. He's having trouble day game approaching women and stuff like that. It's like, got done with the session. He was feeling amazing. He's like, I'm going to go approach 10 women tomorrow. I'm like, sweet, go for it. I follow him up with him a week later, and he's really disappointed because they only approached one girl the next day. I'm like, well, what the heck happened? It's like, well, I got her number. We went on a date. We went back to my place and had sex. I'm like, okay. So let me understand this right. You're upset that you didn't approach 10 women because you got laid the first shot. That's what you're upset about. And stuff like that. It's like, okay, you know what? He was so wrapped up in that idea. It's like, I got to approach somebody. I was like, no, dude, you already won. Like, you've done the thing. Like, what else do you want from that? Right.
So sometimes people miss the tree looking for the forest.
Yep.
It's crazy. Even even with that. So in the hypnosis, since this is the thinking class and we do think here, how does that incorporate NLP?
NLP. So NLP and hypnosis are completely different things, okay? Neurolinguistic processing is essentially trying to work with your conscious mind in more structured ways that tend to get around some of the defenses we normally have. With hypnosis, the entire point is to get you into a altered mental state where we can bypass the critical factor, that part of our mind that's deciding what's true and what's not, what's real and what's not, that kind of thing. So we essentially get to go straight down to your unconscious mind where all your beliefs, behaviors, emotions, memories lie. So I don't have to use tricks once I'm there to get you to kind of move around the waves. I can just interact with that stuff directly.
And so another thing is, because I think a lot of people want to get into that. Do you personally have, and I know the answer already, but do you have your own personal code of ethics when it comes to this?
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the biggest things is that I'm bringing to the session what the client brings to me, right? I am there to give them the result that they're looking for, right? So I'm not there to turn them into, RP guys or players or whatever. That's not my job. My job is to help them become the men that they want to be. Right. And sometimes that's not necessarily the result that I want for them, but that's where they want to be. And that means that I have to put my own feelings aside and give them what they want.
Hey, LDA, Ryan, Jono, I remember my first experience with hypnosis, and I will say it's 100% real because people be tending to think it's like magic and they take pride on the fact you can't hypnotize me. You're not going to be hypnotized if you're going into it. You have to be willingly doing it. And I remember my first time was when I was in Vegas. I forgot the guy's name, but he has like an X-rated hypnosis show, and he had people like humping dolls and stuff. So I went under a little bit. And once I seen what he had the people doing, I snapped out like, "No, you ain't gonna have me out here humping dolls and stuff like that." But it was cool because I got a lot of social proof because I was up on that stage with like me and like 10 other people, or me and 9 other people, was 10 of us. And I swear, from that whole day, everybody recognized me from being on the stage. So I got plenty of action off of that. So you gotta. So the lesson here is you gotta put yourself in uncomfortable situations to grow. That's the lesson. Why I thought I just was saying that.
I thought he was gonna be start going around humping like dogs or something like that. I mean, why you humping like dogs? Come on, we're going to the LDA After Dark now.
Yep.
So yeah, a lot of people don't believe. So this does incorporate part of what we talked about the thinking class about working with the mind and working with your beliefs, because we incorporate that when we're doing. Now you said you work directly with the subconscious, right? So yes. But there is an element of language that's used, or that you bring them into a state. Is that correct?
Of course, yes. The entire point, or the entire
I'll
process of
hypnosis
is just allowing you to listen to the sound of my voice and let me lead you to that place, right? And you're using different methods of, tonality, of pacing and leading, of allowing my voice to relax you and focus you, to get you to the place we need to be, right? So that process is a very language dependent thing. And once you're down there, you can use different NLP techniques to help move the process along faster. But the reality is that because your beliefs, your behaviors, emotions, memories all sit down there, and you can interact with that stuff directly, a lot of the NLP framework isn't necessary. It's necessary when you're dealing with the conscious mind, because you kind of have to work your way through that wall to the unconscious, through all those different linguistic and neuro-linguistic tricks to get down there, right? But if you're already down there, then you don't have to use a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, you're right there talking directly with it.
Exactly.
Now, have you worked that on yourself?
Yes, absolutely. Self-hypnosis is 100% a thing. You can absolutely use it to help change yourself in various ways. For me, it's a little bit tricky because I know all the tricks and stuff. So if my mind doesn't want me to change, it just doesn't let me do the thing, which is really annoying. So I actually have to go work with other people to do the change on myself because my mind won't let me use the tools on myself in the same way.
I had to ask that because sometimes people are like, well, wait a minute. He probably can hypnotize himself.
Yeah. Now, there are things that I can use it for. Like, it's great to just like change your mental state or your emotional state to be in a more productive place, or like getting ready for this panel or getting ready to work, right? You can use it to put yourself to sleep. You can help use it for motivation and things like that. Reinforcing things that are already positive forces in your life are very easy when self-hypnosis. Changing the negatives can be more difficult because, again, you're battling those beliefs, and those beliefs control even in hypnosis. So part of the work that you have to do is actually understand the structure of that belief so you can take apart the foundation so that the rest of the stuff falls away.
That's awesome right there. What do you guys say, John?
No, I think it's a wonderful way to, to deal with things head on. I think that we, as we watch other people not take responsibility, what happens is they're going to fall further and further down the rabbit hole of not getting to the answer. And what happens is we are showing you right now, like literally live right now, that there's a way out. There's a way out. There's people literally going to get certificates and credentials to help you with this particular issue. So the stigmatism behind mental therapy and mental counseling should be literally dissolved. There is help for you because sometimes the things that is in your way is in your own mind. It's not just circumstance. It's really in your mind.
I would say it's even more than sometimes. I would say 90% of the time or more. The problem is in you. Even if it's just you're not allowing yourself to see the possibilities or take the help that's already there, right? Even if it's just you're in your own way when it comes to doing the things you already know you're supposed to be doing.
That's interesting. Let me say this, because this is gonna hit right there. So for the past 6 months or more, in my mailbox, I've been getting notices from a particular internet service. Guess what I do to them? I tear them up and throw them away. Now I want you to pay attention. Ultra informational respect to salute to Ryan. Yeah, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, True Savage. So what I do is I go to the mailbox, get my mail, get my phone bill and get my whatever. I see this notice from this particular internet service and I go and throw it away. I talk with Jono behind the scenes, like, man, we got to upgrade. He's like, you got to upgrade your what? You got to upgrade your internet, man. Come on, get your upgrade. I'm like, all right, man, Jono, I'm going to do it. Did you call him? Yeah, man, I'm going to call him. Call him one time. Well, by April, we're going to upgrade. I said, okay. April comes, April 1st, no upgrade. Still in the mail, I get notice from this other internet service. And I look at it. Don't ask me this week, hey, man, when the upgrade going to come, man? When the internet going to start? I'm like, let me call again. I called them yesterday. And they said, well, you're only getting 10 megabytes for this amount of money. I'm like, 10 megabytes? That's why my stream is looking like this. And I stream every day. Well, that's all we can do. We don't have service. Once again, in the mail. The other internet service I throw away. So I think about it. I think me and John, we reason together, say, why don't you try the other internet service you've been throwing away all this time? Guess what I do? I call the other internet service. Hey, sure, we'll do that. Come pick the equipment up tomorrow, which is today. I went today to go pick up the internet service or the equipment for the new internet service. There was only one caveat. I wait for the tech to come in to activate it and all like that. My point in saying all is this. Many times what we need is right in our mail and we're throwing it away. It is a visible blind spot. My answer was always in the mail.
Yep.
It was always there.
They were counting on you. They were counting on you to eventually see it, even though you're getting all the advertisement and throwing it away. They know you don't have the service. They're going to keep on bugging you until you do have the service or until you tell them, take me off your list. One way or another, that mail was going to stop.
And
but
guess what?
You needed one in there every time because that's how the mind works. You kept throwing it away until, wait a minute, I needed that. What was I throwing it away for? And some people do that with cards that come in the mail. Some people do that with coupons that come in the mail. Some people do that with all this free stuff that come in the mail and all these offers. The reason why they're persistently trying to market to you is because they know at some point you're going to need it. They know you have crappy internet in your building. That's why they keep throwing the cards in your mail.
Well, I'll tell you, it's that example is so hilarious because like you've known for months and you're a guy that gets stuff done. You're not lazy. You're a man on his mission. You know that I'll do this stuff, and even you get stuck in this space of like, yeah, I'll get to it, right? We are our own worst enemy in so many ways. But the best part is that, like, if you do the internal work, if you get that part of your mind actually on your side and on board with the plan, then everything is easy. You know, bodybuilders don't have a problem going to the gym because they're fully aligned with that identity and that goal. And so everything is just on point. Me last year, paying my taxes was more important than going to the gym. Doing the bills is more important than the gym until I did the work to get all that stuff fixed, right? Now it's easier. It's not bodybuilding easy. It ain't fun. It's not my favorite thing, but it's a lot easier for me to do it. And as time goes on, I'm enjoying it more and more. And eventually it's going to become a natural habit for me. But sometimes you got to sit down and figure out, okay, what the heck am I doing kicking myself every single day over the same thing for months and years? Time to get it taken care of.
Right. It was a decision already made. And like Dre said right here, the answer is right in front of us. I think that's what most people miss even about the game. Many times the answers that you want for the game or dealing with women, job, whatever it may be, because the game is just not predicated just dealing with women. Like, anyway, it is right in front of you, but you keep going to the mailbox and throwing it away. You keep throwing it away.
Sometimes your answers come into somebody talking to you and you throw it away because you're like, I don't got time to deal with that thought process at that time. But sometimes people are literally knocking on your door saying, you can address this right now if we just put some attention toward it and just get the job done. Yeah. And I know that can happen. I know that can happen. Listen, it happens in diet. It happens in family. It happens with your money. It happens with your career. If you just focus your attention on, I had a guy, just like I prodded you yesterday, I had a guy come to me today about this website I'm trying to build. He was like, this guy helped me do the whole back end. And he was like, yeah, we need this front end, man. Let's put some money toward getting the front end done. And I'm sitting there like, you know what? I've been thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. But it took somebody else to go put, prod me in the back and say, listen, I know it costs money. Everything costs money, but you got to do it because this idea is going to make some change for a lot of good people. So let's not keep it on the back burner. You already spent the money on the back end. Let's put it in the forefront and let's get the thing out. And I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. So starting Monday, the same way you got your internet because of a conversation, I'm getting something built because of another conversation I had today. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason to let it sit in the backyard. Get your good ideas sit in the background.
That's why Hypnosis for Men is here today, because He's the answer right in front of you.
I like the way you think. I like to think I am, anyways. A lot of times, man, there's a reason why you're not following through that stuff, right? There almost always is. And it's generally not laziness. Most of us are not fundamentally lazy. Most of us are avoiding things on purpose. We're not doing stuff on purpose. There is a reason you're not going to the gym. There's a reason you're not upgrading your internet. There's a reason you're not bringing your website to the front end instead of just working on the back end, right? There's a reason for it. And if you sit down and you start taking a look at that, taking a good hard look at that, that's going to show you some things about yourself that are probably impacting more than just that, right? Not going to the gym was not just about not going to the gym. Not going to the gym was about not putting myself out there in the world where people would see me, people would know me, right? Doing stuff like this would have been impossible a year and a half ago until I did the work to figure out, like, okay, what was it that was holding me back and why?
So now, caught you in the corner now. Got Brian in the corner. You said a year and a half ago, this would have been impossible to do. What was holding you back a year and a half ago, say, from you not being able to do this?
So remember how I talked earlier about that whole, like, being small and safe? Well, there's a part of my mind that fundamentally believed that me putting myself out there in the world would get me hurt. Everything I love would be taken from me. Right? That was the kind of narrative or the belief that was running in the back of my head. So if I went to the gym, worked out, got a good body, well, I'd put myself out there, I'd be dating girls. That's not allowed because that's dangerous, right? If I started a business, that requires me to put myself out there in the world, show the world who I am, advertise, right? Do shows like this, talk to people, strangers, thousands of miles away, right? That's dangerous, not allowed. So essentially, I would do everything but go to the gym, get the business off the ground, do the YouTube and all that stuff. Do anything but that. Video games for hours, sure. Like screw around on the internet for days, not a problem at all. Actually do something to move this forward, nope, not allowed. But once I got that taken care of, once I addressed that belief, once I got that fixed, well, started going to the gym more, started a business, got to the point where I could leave my old career and do this full time, talking with you right here, right? Work with men, hundreds of men at a time, with John from Modern Life Datings programs. And that wouldn't have been possible a year and a half ago if I hadn't done that work.
So in essence, when a man thinks small of himself and doesn't see his worth, tagged along with this, thinks small of himself and doesn't see his worth and not willing to put himself out there, hinders him from what? Experience the allness of this, of abundance that's out there.
Yes.
So the question I have for the chat room, how many of you guys are playing it safe but not putting yourself out there? Oh, this is the
Dre, that's 100%. Yeah, Dre, that's 100% right. Like that, as much as that stuff was holding me back from living an amazing life, from experiencing that abundance, from having that success, it was doing it fundamentally to protect me. And I would say just about every single one of those limiting beliefs that I've run across, except for in like 2 cases out of the 300 clients I've worked with, that was the purpose, like to protect, to help in some way. Right. So even though it's keeping you from the things you want, even though it's keeping you from winning in ways you want to be and pursue, leveling up in life the way you want to, it's doing it for a positive reason. Just got to figure out what that is and give it a better solution to that old problem.
So that goes back to one of our teachings about John, when we talked about the risk.
Yeah. If a lot of people, they feel like the risk is the reason that's in the way, but you're taking a risk, not taking the risk. You're taking the risk, staying the same, and life changing right in front of you, and you have no control over it.
Part of the difficulty is that the back part of our brain, our unconscious mind, is really, it doesn't understand long-term thinking. It's very in the moment. Like that's really all it understands, right? That's strategic thinking. That's your conscious mind. That's the front part of your brain. As a result, it's wired to avoid momentary pain or the pain in the moment over anything else, right? So one of the things that a lot of guys with approach anxiety have is this idea that, oh, well, if I'm going to get rejected, it's going to hurt. It's going to prove I'm a loser. It's like, okay, sure. Maybe in that moment, that's true. But if you never approach, then that always proves you're a loser, right? That pain of isolation over years is infinitely worse than any momentary pain of getting rejected in the moment, right? So by
Mm.
avoiding a little pain now, you give yourself a lot of pain later, right?
Slow down. Slow down.
Ice cream looks really good.
Let me repeat that. Avoiding pain now. Say that again.
Avoiding a little bit of pain now gives you a lot of pain over time.
Wow. Wow. We need to stick with. We need to. Hold on. I've been. Uh-oh. Avoiding a little pain now. Say that again because I want him to really get this with the thinking class.
All right. Avoiding a little pain now costs you a lot of pain over time.
I mean, one prime example is your health, right? If you don't work out now, you're going to be literally on the operating table 20 years from now with clogged arteries and all the other health ailments that come along with not taking care of your body. And you could spend, maybe 20% more money on organic or healthier food now, or you could spend $100 for a cup of Jello in the hospital.
Or since this is a thinking class, avoiding the pain of looking at the hard places of yourself where you're not measuring up, those places where you're falling down, means you're going to have a crappy life from there on out until you do.
Woo.
You can't afford to stay the same.
No.
You can't afford to make the same money you made last year. You can't afford it.
Uh-oh. Here we go. We might as well get the money. Here we go. Say that again, Jono, please.
You can't afford. Listen, this pandemic has shown you, you could take a break from travel and expenses, but you definitely can't stay with the same money. You can't have to stay the same way as last year. You have to go up. The prices of your expenses are going to go up. Your groceries are going to go up. Everything else is going to go up. I think I saved about $600 a month in gas alone. But guess what? That money went immediately to food. That money went immediately to more expenses in the house. The electric bill went up. The gas bill went up. Everything went up. And I don't pay no small bills. So those compounded amounts mean you have to be focused on making more money every year.
I'll tell you what, MAI has a great little point there. Futures based on the choices you're making now, but I would say it's even more important than that. The past doesn't really matter. Like where you're coming from, wherever you're starting, that's fine. It doesn't matter how low you are. It's your trajectory, right? It's whether or not you're on that upslope or whether you're on a downslope. You could be high as a kite, but if you're heading down, that's a terrible place to be. But if you're in the low and you're moving up because you're doing the hard work, that's a great place to be, right? It's essentially, right, the past doesn't matter. The only thing that really matters is what you choose to do next.
I'm gonna say it even more harsh. It's an even more harsh thing. If the prices of inflation and all your expenses go up and you don't get more, guess what? You gave yourself a demotion.
Oh yeah. And you can carry that through in every area of your life, right? If everybody else is moving forward and you're staying in the same place, you're getting left further and further and further behind. Which means you can't compete in so many different markets now.
That's why we have the thinking class. It's more than just talking game and talking about women and talking about how many women you have. We want you to be we want the holistic game. And what we I realized just this week, just going back over it, here, we deal with the spiritual and the mental side of the game. And it's like our niche in that. Mm-hmm. And so we have actually mastered it. We mastered it years ago. Jono and I, we talked about it years ago. But now it's just like putting the rubber to the road to actually dig even deeper. So what you're saying is like right in line, even today, to come on. Here's when we talk about the game is to be sold and not told. Because what you're saying a lot, but you're not saying a lot. Because there's a price tag to even talk with you.
Well, that's true. But the other piece is that because everybody's beliefs are so individualistic, you can only talk in generalities.
Correct.
Right? So I don't know what's holding LDA back. I don't know what's holding John O back. I'd have to sit down and talk with you to figure out what challenges you're facing to figure out how to move forward. And then we need to do the work to explore actually what those beliefs, what those stories you are telling yourself about the past, right? Because it's not the things that happen; it's the stories that we tell, right? You walk up to a girl and shoot your shot, and she says no. That either means, well, obviously she's missing out because I'm awesome and she's had a terrible day, which is why she had such a bad attitude, or it means I'm worthless and I'm never going to find love. Well, depending upon which story you tell yourself, you go down two very different paths. So if you can find a way to tell a better story about the things that are holding you back, and you change the meaning of it, you change the way your mind has to deal with that event and how you move through life. But you got to take a look and figure out what those stories are that you're telling yourself. Because if a guy comes to me and says that, hey, I'm having trouble approaching women, it could be any 1 to 5 or 6 different things. And the flavor of the story he tells is going to be different. So I can't just hand him if you want to be better with him, and here you go. Just listen to those 5 times and you'll be set. No, you got to actually do the exploration. You got to do the digging. You got to figure out what it is. That's
good right there about the stories. What stories are you telling? So we're going to close up right now. We're right at the minute. In closing, what couple things you would like to share with the thinking class here about your channel, about you, about what we talked about today?
Right, so my name is Ryan Christensen. The channel is Hypnosis for Men. Same thing on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me there. What I would say is that everybody got things that are holding them back that are hard to see. And the best way to see it is to talk to people who can be a good mirror for you and to show those parts of you that are hard to see on your own. It's hard to do that work on the back of your mind and examining your own beliefs when it's hard to understand what they are from your own perspective. So use other people, whether that's one of the gentlemen on this panel, whether it's your friends, whether that's a mentor of other kinds, but you have to reach out to other people to be able to see that part of yourself that you can't look at yourself.
And where can we find you again?
www.hypnosisformen.com. Ryan@hypnosisformen.com is my email address, so feel free to reach out to me there.
That's it. You guys, y'all got so much in this week. And then to get the icing on the cake, Hypnosis for Men, Ryan came here dropping some jewels. Y'all better pay it. Go back and listen to this one, because it had a lot of heat with it. This was power packed. Join us next week. We'll be talking about the spiritual game. I'm going to retitle it correctly, but the spiritual game. Because once we tap into that, baby, it's another level. What you guys say about that, Jono?
We're laying the foundation. I think we've been laying the foundation for weeks now so that we can get to this level of conversation, and I'm excited about it.
So the spiritual game. You thought the physical was it. We've been talking about the mental. But once you tap into the spiritual side of the game, you can touch a woman on a spiritual level that other men would never, ever be able to touch on. Shouldn't be saying this stuff. That should be LDA After Dark kind of stuff. But we out of here. Y'all better subscribe to Ryan. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Hey, no problem. When y'all go over to Ryan's channel, tell him y'all put in there in the comments the LDA sent me. That's how we do it here. Ryan, if you don't know, you now salute. Thinking class. Wow, thank you for the teaching. Yeah, this is what we do in a thinking class. Great show, gentlemen. Thank you. That's the enforcer himself, Joe Blas. Viking Paradigm, my dude. Salute to everybody. We out of here. So y'all want to start, people want to start coming in as soon as we start. About to leave. I love it. Have a great weekend. See you Monday, 12:30 Eastern time. We will have the upgrade then. And the next upgrade is coming up too, real quick too. Huh?
MacBook Pro. MacBook Pro.
It is definitely, man, you know what? It's so here it don't make any sense, man. I was on it last night in my dreams. Playing on the MacBook Pro. So I want to,
Let's get it.
Get it. The money is already here. Y'all enjoy the show. This is what I'm talking about. This is what grown men do. They conversate. They learn. and they execute. We out of here. Stay on the lines, guys. While put the picture up. As soon as we about to end, everybody want to come into the chat room. Look at this, 19 people. I love it. Why does that happen? I love it. Much love to everybody. Shout out to the Thinking Class. See you next week. We out. Peace.